Silly season has officially begun in Formula One. Yuki Tsunoda might be going somewhere now. Carlos Sainz might be going somewhere. Toto Wolff might have changed his mind. Max Verstappen might be staying. This is View from Left Field. Hello and welcome to a very impromptu episode of View from Left Field. This is just going to be a quick one to chuck out there because if anybody's been keeping across some of the gossip that's been going on, F1 silly season has well and truly started. And we normally at least wait till the Belgian Grand Prix is done before all this sort of starts to kick off. But we just thought we'd bring this out to you because as of today, as of right now, we're expecting an announcement with regards to Max Verstappen. Well, we know Max Verstappen will be at the press conference, and there is rumours touting around that there will be an announcement within that press conference from the four-time world champion. So we'll look into what we think that might be, and some other rumours as well that are circulating around a number of other drivers. Plus, has Toto Wolff changed his mind, much like the CEO of the company from the Coldplay thing, like we referenced last week? Much like he has had to change his mind, has Toto Wolff been forced to change his mind? So, Phil, where do you want to start?
Yeah, we'll pick up on the whole Verstappen Toto Wolff thing. I think I'm going to throw in the biggest curveball, like we were on, the WhatsApp chat, which kind of prompted this very quick podcast. I think Verstappen's going to announce a contract extension. Now, the reason behind it is Toto Wolff, like a man who's been caught with his pants down whilst Yellow was being played.
Was it actually Yellow that was being played at the time? Does anyone know?
I don't think so. I think Chris Martin was talking. He was looking around at the camera. But he now says that his main priority for next year is Russell and Antonelli. Now, that's a massive turnaround from flying here, there and everywhere and landing in Sardinia, having his arms around Max, at a concert, things like that. It feels very... Is this Red Bull forcing Max's hand to get something out there to say you're staying? Has Toto Wolff gone back to the family home with his tail between his legs going, I always wanted you to. You're my favourite kid. It all feels a little bit like it's an anticlimax about to hit. Don't get me wrong, Wolff could be playing the ultimate poker game. He got stung by Hamilton. But,
or do you think... Do you think that this is in any way, shape? We touched on it when we did the episode about Christian Horner. We both basically said the same thing. There were two separate episodes. If you've not seen them, go back and watch them. But we said the same thing separately on those two episodes. Was that a last-ditch attempt from Red Bull to keep Max? And I suppose now that the argument would be, is there a possibility that that's worked? Max has been flirting back with Toto for the entirety of the season. Red Bull have seen that. Sacked Horner. That's now worked. That's encouraged Max to stay. Max has then gone and rejected Mercedes, and now Toto, like you say, is having to come back with his tail between his legs and go, "No, I was never. Come on, you guys. I was never going to get rid of either of you."
So cue the normal spiel, but in a very strong Austrian accent, sounding a little bit like Arnie Schwarzenegger. Of course you're going to talk to the best driver out there. I was keeping my options open, but I'm happy with what I've got.
Yeah. Do you think? I must admit, I finished off the episode that we did at the weekend about Max to Mercedes. I actually disagreed with you in as much as I did think it was going to happen. I'm now flip-flopping again because I now don't think it's going to happen. I do actually genuinely think he'll end up staying now.
Either staying or joining Newey, but that's an impossible fit in that team, which leads us on to one of the next, bullet points, really, doesn't it?
But also, just on that quickly before you do move away from the Max one, it also we touched on, and I couldn't find the images on social media. We touched on that there was the supposed pictures of the Red Bull with the 63 on the front, and that was the photo shoot that would confirm in George Russell. Now I've also seen something this morning that actually says that that's been AI'd. The number on the front of it is actually, and what number will Max inevitably be next year? Yeah. So.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people now saying that it was never a 6. It was 2 3s, and that's been auto-generated, for AI'd and all the rest of it to be a 6.
In that case, let's be clever then, and let's drop the Tsunoda thing for a minute, and let's say what number's going to end up on the other Red Bull next year? Because
and the irony that 30, 33, and 22 make.
Well, yeah, precisely. for 54.
Yes, 12. We think Antonelli's going Red Bull.
Yes. No, Carlos Sainz has started banging the drum a little bit. We know Williams' move hasn't been as easy as a lot of people thought it would be for him. Albon is outperforming, and you could say it's experience, it's knowledge of the team. I wouldn't say Albon's a better driver than Sainz. But Sainz has been beating a lot of comments aimed either towards Red Bull or to improve his standing with them. You know, we know he came from there. We know he came in at the same time as Max. He is the only teammate that I can't remember if he was within a point or two or actually beat Max. And, you know, he's saying he doesn't know why Red Bull didn't pick him up for this year. He doesn't know, you know, he's the only guy who's stood toe-to-toe with Max. Now, I know things have moved on. They've all both aged. Max has gone one way. Carlos has gone the other. It just feels like this is almost an aggressive mating ritual from Sainz. It's pretty much trying to club Red Bull over the head and drag him back to his cave, innit? You know, there's none of this arms round each other nonsense. He is...
And don't you think it's quite timely as well that the Red Bull... We heard Perez's comments, and we touched on them when we were at Silverstone, and now all of a sudden everything's starting to come together and it's starting to make a bit more sense. We heard Perez's comments that Christian Horner had supposedly said that he would quite happily run a team with just one car. It's only the regulations that make him two. Horner's now gone, and now all of a sudden, all right, it's only Sainz, it's only the one driver we've heard from, but is it now all of a sudden quite telling that number 2 seat is all of a sudden desirable again?
Well, just to pick up on that, you say it's only Sainz we've heard from. It was only Sainz available who could have gone last year, so it was probably only Sainz who spoke to them.
But my point is, why is he didn't bring this up in January, he didn't bring it up in February, he didn't bring it up at the nonsense F175 show that we had. All right, he's not going to, he's just signed for Williams. But my point is it's almost like now that Horner's gone, people are going, all right, I want to be in that Red Bull number 2 now. And we've seen, I was going to say that Lauren Mekies has proved in his time wherever he's been, and even when his time at Minardi, back eons ago. I forgot. Oh, sorry. Lauren Mekies has always concentrated on 2 drivers. You know what I mean? It's never been focused on one. So now that he's now obviously running Red Bull, whether that's temporary or permanent, we don't know. But now that he's there, I wonder if now, and like I say, Sainz to Red Bull seems it's come out of the woodwork. I would say, because I think it's him not giving Williams much of a chance if it were to go. But bottom line is, which is the better car or has the better potential?
Yeah, and you know, he's even at the start of this week, he started kind of questioning all these rumours that him and Max didn't get on. Yeah, he said they weren't best of friends or anything, but they had an understanding. There was a mutual respect to progress the team at the time. It was Toro Rosso. I had to remember which brand of the company it was at that time.
That was 15 iterations ago.
Yeah. Toro Rosso, Alpha Tauri, Racing Bulls, Visa Cash App, I don't know, some waffle maker, Toasty, Breville, sandwich, George Foreman. But yeah, the thing is, they actually haven't fallen out as much as the issue was met up from Sainz's. It sounds like a really aggressive, give me a job. You know, that, and it's a shame for Williams, and you know, we both love Mr. Vowles and everything Williams stands for, but if you as a driver can go and force your way into a top team with spending potential, you can't blame him for doing it, and you do it. So yeah, that was interesting that Sainz has started. He's not really one to mouth off much in public, neither Sainz, which is what threw me most about all this. Do you want to pick up the next one? Because I can't say it without laughing.
Well, I mean, this is nonsensical. This is absolutely nonsensical. So I understand the reason behind it. So again, another rumour that I've picked up on over the last couple of days is that if Sainz were to go to Red Bull, see, we're doing this in an order. If Sainz were to go to Red Bull, that would obviously leave a space free. Now, that space isn't going to be vacated by Max Verstappen, as we first said. So it now looks more likely that Yuki Tsunoda's time at Red Bull will only last, I was going to say a season, but it was a season minus 2 races. Yeah. So it now seems apparent that Yuki Tsunoda's time at Red Bull is up. Now, that's not a surprise. I think one of the things that was probably going to keep him there was the affiliation with Honda. That affiliation no longer exists post 2025. So I'm not surprised. His performances have not been good enough. I understand everything we've spoke about in the past about the Red Bull second seat. I understand that is not an entire representation of Yuki Tsunoda, but has he done enough to be kept? Whether it's his fault or not, no. So if it is to be Verstappen and Sainz at Red Bull next year, then that leaves Yuki Tsunoda jobless. That job is reportedly going to be following Honda, because as we know, they're going to Aston Martin in 2026. And it looks very likely, from what I've seen this morning, that Yuki Tsunoda might be in line to follow them. Honda will apparently start to put pressure on Aston Martin to use a Japanese driver.
So who are we getting rid of then? Richie Rich or the Matador?
I mean, look, if I can actually put a case for getting rid of both. My case for getting rid of Stroll is obvious. He's not good enough, and then. Look, he's better than me. He can drive in Formula 1, but he is not good enough to compete with the 20. How many memes have you seen of 19 of the world's best drivers and Lance Stroll? Like, he isn't of that level. So the argument for Stroll... Say again?
I said you keep sending them me. That's why I keep seeing them.
I know. So the Lance Stroll one, I can make a defence. I can make an argument for getting rid of Alonso because he's not... He's of his age. It's purely because of his age. Yes, he can help build that team. We saw Schumacher do it at Mercedes. We saw Coulthard do it at Red Bull. Like, yes, we've seen it in the past of older drivers helping to build a team. That's not a Raikkonen at Sauber, I guess, as they transitioned or started the Audi process. Hulkenberg now at Sauber almost. So it isn't a surprise that they tried to do that. But at the same time, his age is now, I would argue his age is arguably becoming a little bit of a problem, and his best years are well beyond him. So I can make a case for both. I can't see Lawrence Stroll getting rid of Lance. I can't see him doing it. Which means that the Aston Martin driver lineup for 2026 with new regulations, with new cars that we believe can race closer, will be Chaos Twin 1 and Chaos Twin 2. It will be. It absolutely will be Mario Kart. It's, oh dear. I mean, that is such a bad business decision. I get why Honda wants Tsunoda, but my God.
Then Red Bull are left with... Red Bull and something else I'll talk about in a minute because it's my last note and I don't want to overrun this. I want it to keep this nice short and snappy. A bit of news. We'll be back on the weekend anyway. That means Red Bull then could potentially have a choice of people like Alonso or Sainz or Lance Stroll, if it goes that way. All of a sudden, you've got a team principal who wants two cars, and all of a sudden these rich pickings of drivers that you could, I'm sure Sainz and Albon would jump back in at another chance at Red Bull, given...
Well, let's say it is Sainz. We're speaking completely hypothetically, because this is purely on gossip, and no doubt in the summer window we will do another one, or at least one episode on summer rumours.
The 2026 grid. There you go.
We'll have a stab. But if we're saying Sainz at Red Bull, Tsunoda at Aston Martin, does that then potentially mean that Fernando Alonso is a possibility for Williams? Now, I know I've just said that I can see why Aston Martin would get rid, but I can absolutely see why Williams would want someone with his experience. Aston Martin have sort of been teasing around pushing the top four, if you like, for a while. Never done it. Williams actually now, we've said it a million times, Williams actually now seem like the team that are going to push that top four, if indeed anybody this season. So I would think that the possibility of Alonso with a Williams to directly replace Sainz would be mega.
Oh, just for revenue and commercial kind of impact alone, not to question the fact that he is one of the greatest of all time as well. Yeah. But that'd be an interesting set. I'm one we'd love, and I'd obviously be running around with number 14 Williams shirts on all around Silverstone next year. Final point to end this wonderfully... Actually, it was a really good episode, this. I'm not blowing my own point. Does anybody at all care about Cadillac?
Well, actually, I was going to bring that up, because I wonder if that's why Cadillac are stalling a little bit. We believe now that it's going to be Bottas and Mick Schumacher in the Cadillac for next season. So we believe that's the driver lineup. But I wonder if that's maybe why they're stalling, because if Sainz does go to Red Bull, if Tsunoda then does go to Aston Martin, if someone like Fernando Alonso is available, I wonder if that's potential. No disrespect to Valtteri Bottas, we all love him and we want him back in the sport, but if you're giving me Alonso or Bottas as your older sort of head, like, I'm picking Alonso. So I wonder if that's maybe why Cadillac are just stalling. I wonder if they won't necessarily announce anything until post sort of Zandvoort when the silly season's done.
I'm going to make a prediction right here as to who the other, if Bottas does indeed have a seat, you know, or Bottas / Perez, you know, the older driver, Zhou Guanyu will be the second driver.
A Cadillac? Are you dismissing then that it already looks like it's Mick Schumacher?
I am, purely because Graham Loudon, who was with Manor, you know, has a reputation for choosing the young underdog like Bianchi from Ferrari, bizarrely enough, where the engine's coming from. Zhou Guanyu is now linked to Ferrari. He was Zhou Guanyu's manager.
Interesting. So
helping through the youth.
So I started this little segment by saying it appears that Cadillac's team lineup is Bottas and Schumacher. What we're actually saying now is it's Bottas or Perez or Schumacher or Zhou, or again, if someone like Fernando Alonso is indeed left free and jobless, it could be Fernando Alonso. So what we're saying is we don't have a clue what Cadillac are doing next year.
No, but what we're saying is, do we care?
No, no, we don't. No, we don't want another Americanization of the sport. I hope they prove me wrong, but no, you're right. We don't care. I can't see them being any different to when Haas came in. I really can't.
But Haas are fun because they had Gunter Steiner.
They did, yeah. Sorry, yes. So it's going to be a boring Haas. Like Haas are a boring Haas now, but they're actually quite good. They're better than they were.
The problem you have is people still have a really bitter taste in their mouth from the last time a load of new teams came in. You know, because if you think Sauber are bowing out of the spot, I know they're still going to be in it with the fact that Audi is Sauber. But this is Audi, one new team. Cadillac, a second new team. Do you remember Manor, Lotus, or Caterham, whatever you wanted to call them, and HRT?
All at once, yeah, I do.
Not one of them survived longer than 2 or 3 seasons. And that's why, until there is something that makes me sit up and go, Christ, these are quite good. They're in. Yeah. I won't buy into it, but there we go.
We've seen manufacturers come into Formula One in the past and just go, "This is too hard."
Well, Cadillac a manufacturer. They've got a Ferrari box in the back.
So you know what I mean? All right, team, whatever you want. I'm saying manufacturer because they're a manufacturer of cars, but you're right. Another team come into the sport and just go, "This is not." I think a lot of people think that they come in with the money and the resource, and then they'll start competing for championships. And when that doesn't happen, I think that's when they think, "I can't bother with this anymore."
And they'll use the same nonsense about, well, the FIA promised us X, Y, and Z. That's all well and good, but the way Formula One set up is the teams get a say too.
Yeah.
No team's going to help another team. That's pretty much rule 101 of Formula One. Unless you pay me, you don't get help.
And why should they? It's not the MLS where every team chucked in to buy Messi for one team. Anyway, we digress.
So anyway, moving on.
That is it was a very, very quick summary. So as you can see, silly season has absolutely started early. Rumours of Carlos Sainz going back to the Red Bull driver program. He obviously never drove for Red Bull, but back to that family. Rumours of Tsunoda following Honda to Aston Martin. I think that's strong. It makes no sense, but I think that's a strong possibility personally, that one. Maybe Max Verstappen isn't going to Mercedes after all the videos that everybody's put up on YouTube, not just ourselves, and all the rumour that's been going on pretty much all season. Now it looks likely that Max Verstappen is not going anywhere. What does that mean for the likes of Fernando Alonso, everybody else? I mean, silly season has well and truly begun. And before the summer break, we even have a race this weekend. So we will see you again straight after the Belgian Grand Prix. There's a sprint weekend, of course, this weekend. So we will be covering across absolutely everything that happens this weekend. Not entirely sure I think Belgium's a good idea for the sprint, but
no.
Yeah.
There isn't a good idea for a sprint. They're all stupid. But moving on.
That's true. Yeah, well, that's true. So thank you for joining us for this very, very quick one. Let us know in the comments if you think that any of what we've said so far has any weight to it, or indeed if you
hear anything else. Yeah.
Yes, or indeed if that. And that's it. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you on Sunday for the Belgian Grand Prix review. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, bye-bye.